I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
All right. Welcome, everybody, for another session of Valoris Tantibus Afterdark. Session 8, Intervening Divine. When last we left our party, they were able to track down a mysterious individual that has recently taken residence within Tantibus. A foreigner. They were able to work the docks, kind of get some information, which led them to a man named Mitsukage. He spoke with Vic under the assumption it was Caspian under another guise. Through trial and error effort, a party was able to make entrance into their estate and meet with Lady Hitsune. But not all was as it seemed. Immediately upon meeting her grace, the party fell witness to the majesty, the divine. They had a small conversation, information exchange. They were about to get a little information, perhaps payback, on the location of one of the Nagpa. And this is where we start. Lady Hitsune says, I can lead you to the whereabouts of the Nagpa. But I think another detail needs your attention. Something that will not only help yourselves in overcoming the Nagpa, but helping everyone within the city. Would you hear me out? She kind of glances at the party in turn. Does anyone object? Does anyone else say anything? Tantibus is without hope. Many are fearful of my children, the great battle that once took place not so long ago. The rise of the undead, other powers in play. Tantibus needs a hero. There is one within the city, and only one, who is worthy enough, though she may not think so. Perhaps with a little prodding, with a little help from unknown friends and acquaintances, she will rise to be the great protector of the city. I have a task for you, but it is... it will be perilous. But it is something that needs done. I don't expect an answer from you right now, but time is of the essence. In fact, time is the cause of everything. Get a good night's rest. Seek me out in the morning. If you wish to help, you know where to find me.
Very well, my lady.
We will think on your proposal, but Peril is part of circus folks' nature.
Indeed.
Let us not kid ourselves. You are no mere circus folk.
Yeah, that tiger is more than his stripes, but he still wears them proudly.
Mitsukage, please escort them. Make sure that they arrive at their destination safely, and then you may return to your appointed task. He turns to her and, "Hi!" He gets up from the table, slides open the door, and waits for you all.
Right? Then I guess we will rise and go out the door.
As you're walking out the door, out of the corner of your eye, you can see her. She's been mostly kind of deadpan this whole time, but a small smile has creeped across her face. Not an ominous one, just a small, gentle smile. All right. Mitsukage will escort you immediately back to the circus unless you have any other tasks that you wish to convince him are more important.
That would be unwise, I think.
Probably.
All right.
Well, there goes our cush cherry gig of guarding this place for 10 gold a day.
But we did receive a divine task.
Indeed you did, mighty cleric.
Perhaps, just maybe, she'll be able to help us find the other Nagpa and my mom.
She did make a promise. You guys head back to the circus, and for the most part, all is calm. Not a whole lot going on other than the day-to-day sort of things. The people here have been picking themselves up by the bootstraps. That's pretty typical of circus folk, hardworking folk. And they're doing their nightly tasks and such. They all greet you with warm smiles as you guys come back to the circus. Mitsukage, however, stops at the threshold onto the circus grounds. He stands there quietly, kind of watching, making sure that you guys are moving towards your destination.
Is anything the matter, my lad?
It is nothing. She has appointed me a task. I was hopeful that she would deem you lot to come. But it seems a greater task is at hand. I will work on what is truly happening with the shipments, who is corrupting these goods.
Well, I may have approached you under false pretenses, my lord, but I am still interested in learning more from you. If there's anything we can ever do to help you that doesn't interfere with the lady's business, you can always ask.
Complete your task, and if I'm still alive, I will gladly accept your assistance. Although you may have hailed from our country, it does not seem our country followed you as much as one would hope, which is both a blessing and a curse, I suppose. For the blight of the Shadowlands runs deep. Bear this in mind in your travels.
I'll do my best and watch your back while you're doing whatever it is you get up to.
He nods and bows just a little bit deeper than he did before. He quickly turns on his heels and marches off into the night.
So, we keep getting cooler and cooler bosses, eh, guy?
So this is the norm between you all?
Recently, yes.
Sure seems like we've hit our lucky streak.
I suppose if we're going to be sticking around this place that we like to call home, it is far better to be on the end that is actively doing something to fix what's wrong with it than stumbling along blindly hoping for someone else to do the same.
When the fire starts threatening to go out, everyone has to do their best to keep it glowing.
Aye.
You must kindle the fire, chosen undead.
Volderin, you being
Yes.
a pious cleric, how does
Don't mind me.
how does it
Still trying to get that to work.
You're fine. How does it feel to know that this celestial being did not name you as a holy protector?
Wow.
Right in the feels.
I feel like he probably would understand why.
Okay. I was just curious if that maybe brought some envy.
Not so much envy, more so shame on his part.
Interesting. All right. So as you guys kind of talk amongst the torchlight there, the campfire kind of burning as the last of supper has been made. You guys would have leftovers essentially at this point. You guys kind of converse amongst yourselves. Are you going to take her up on her offer?
I believe it would be foolish to say no to one of divine power such as that. Not to mention the fact that she also is the mother of gods.
Prudence is a strong force, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons we sought out Kiev in the first place was to get a way to the Nagpa. His way has proved uncertain at best. Perhaps hers is the only way we're going to find.
That is something else that troubles me. Obviously, someone, be it the Nagpa or someone else pulling their own strings with an agenda, has manipulated him into believing she was involved in a drug peddling ring.
Yes, Mitsukage seemed to suggest that someone was tampering with the shipments. It makes me feel as though there's more to Kiev's situation than first met the eye. Or first met the Order of the Eye, that is.
Things to think about. Is there any
Tough crowd.
Is there anything that you guys wish to prepare before you are reacquainted?
I don't believe so.
Any last divvying of items?
Oh, assuming that there's not a problem with it with Kaladin or anything, I'd like to take the Ring of Shared Suffering for my.
Okay. If they have issue, they can certainly bring it up in the future.
And I believe that Feli was going to get the Ring of Protection to become an even stronger girl.
Okay. And let's see. I'll start divvying out some of these items in the background. Caspian, your item obviously is more of a role play as opposed to just straight on mechanics. Feli, yours of course would add +1 to your AC. Items. And what about the others?
I think I got the Staff of Healing.
Mm-hmm.
Who did we think would be a good recipient for the Diplomat pouch?
I don't think we decided on that yet. I think we were waiting to see if we could have a second one made.
So that was only useful if there was a pair of it.
A pair or more?
But by itself, it didn't do anything, right?
Not that you're aware of. However, through Kiev's analysis, it is part of a set, and it will, in fact, convey shared suffering. He does not know if it's one other item, 100 other items. It's impossible to tell.
This was the diplomat's pouch, not the ring.
Oh, the diplomat's pouch? I'm sorry, I thought we were still talking about the Ring of Shared Suffering. So the diplomat's pouch. Let me pull it back up here. Parcels. Not pollute. I'll drop it in here for everybody. So it specifically, he would say anyone else who has a diplomat's pouch, you could then in turn send messages to them. So ultimately, you would need to know a recipient who also had one.
Well, it's very possible, perhaps, that all of the Nagpa have such pouches, and this might be how they were communicating with each other.
That is probably a good assessment, as you guys were there, you witnessed the council. They weren't all there in person.
For the time being, that might be more of like a party item, since it doesn't seem to require attunement anyway.
I'd agree with that.
Seems like we could just use it whenever the story thus requires.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So nobody is going to actively use the diplomat's pouch, correct?
Right.
On whose person is it? Just make sure that it's known.
Would we know whether or not tossing it in the bag of holding would result in a magnificent implosion of magic power?
You've heard of such items doing that, but as for which items, you wouldn't know. I mean,
Okay, so
specifically
probably
like this
best
item, this
not to
item,
change
this
that.
item.
I mean, in the meantime, I can hold on to it and be the Nagpa bait. Just have both of the things that all the Nagpa did.
No, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if once they figure out that their friend is dead, they start sending us messages.
Start taunting us.
Just get a scroll on it, unroll it, and it's like your mom's gay.
Lols. So thus far, I have given Phaley the Ring of Prot. It is active on their sheet. Valderin, you also have the Staff of Healing, though you'll have to do any sort of equipping that you'll need. But it is identified.
So I'll take the Ring of Shared Suffering and the Diplomat Pout.
Drop those in there.
Am I asking to get bird smited? Yeah, but here we go.
All right, you should have both of those. You'll have to adjust any sort of equipping. Actually, I don't know if I did that with Phaley. Phaley, your Ring of Protection is now equipped. You should have that bonus to AC.
Yay, thank you.
On Atherin, I don't know if you're able to remove the condition that I put on myself.
I can.
I can't seem to do it from.
DM Onry. The 3 conditions. Done. All right, anything else?
I think we're good.
We had the bottle, unless I missed where it was going. And the charlatans die. I think maybe Caspian took it as well.
I was tentatively thinking at least the bottle might be good for Kaladin.
Okay.
And I think the die was kind of glossed over. I don't know that you guys want to give me another die.
What could possibly go wrong? I mean, technically, this one gives you whatever number you want, so.
Oh, so I can choose to betray the party?
Exactly.
Not another time.
I received enough whippings from her the first time.
Wow.
Whipping, biting, geez, what doesn't go on?
Our cat is secretly the dungeon master of our sex dungeon.
I know.
All right, so it sounds like pretty much everything is divvied up. I did drop the ever-smoking bottle into Kaladin's inventory. And the die is going to Caspian.
Yeah,
Yes.
hold on to it.
So that will be all of the items divvied out in your inventory. Except for, why do you have 2 of these?
There we go, I got rid of it.
Thank you. All right, so a little bit of side story. Vic, your adventure would happen tonight. Complete, okay?
Roger that.
Morning comes. The light snowfall kind of hitting the ground. It's a little bit lighter than it has been in a few days. A welcomed warmth to the cold, chilly mornings of this summer day. You guys pack up your things and head back to the manor?
I do believe we do.
All right. You guys will arrive. You're expected, of course. And the lady is seated at the table. She is in essentially what you guys would recognize as a ritual. She's doing various movements with small containers, teacups. She'll pick up the cup, rotate it a few times, set it down, go over, grab the teapot, pour, repeat. She beckons you all to sit.
Go ahead and sit.
For dramatic
I'll do
effect,
so.
Kaladin will also be with you. As you guys sit, she takes a small parchment out of her yukata, places it very neatly, very delicately in the center of the table. It is tied together with a simple ribbon. The edges look torn and frayed.
My lady, we have come as you requested.
A small gift. As she finishes pouring the rest of the tea. Does anyone grab the small scroll?
Baldwin will grab it and take a look at it.
Okay. As you unfurl the scroll, this is what you see. You probably have to zoom out.
Definitely do. He will kind of hold it out for the rest of the party to see it.
This is your destination.
Rather extensive.
Unfortunately, this is all that remained. Though its edges are torn and worn, I believe it will be of assistance to you. The center, you can see almost a small burn mark, the part of the map which is unreadable.
Well, perhaps it would be expeditious for you to, if you would please, tell us what it is you wanted us to get done.
That is a difficult question to answer. For you will only find what you seek. A great weapon. Smiter of evil. Or a great protective item. To adorn one's skin. To keep the clutches of evil at bay. The choice is yours.
I see.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm still not entirely understanding, my lady. How is this supposed to help your chosen champion?
Drink. It will calm your nerves. As she starts to delicately place tea amongst all of the party members, herself included.
Caspian will do his best to drink the tea and not burn his mouth.
I understand you're skeptical. All I ask is little faith. Be careful what you bring with you.
Is there anything we should be inclined to leave behind then?
It has been my experience to let the past die. For oftentimes it only brings us greater sorrow. She glances at all of you, still seeing the concern in your eyes. Perhaps a story. Shortly after the First Age, the Golden Emperor set precautions, wards against what he perceived was a great evil. As he was doing so, there were many who still did not trust the Golden Emperor. They built up armaments, weapons, a cache of knowledge. The Golden Emperor, in his wisdom, decided to reach out to these small pockets of, she kind of lightly dances the word, resistance. This is one such place. Fallen to evil it has. Ransacked by the Nagba. Though I don't think you'll find any remnant of them there. For some items truly blessed by the gods cannot be tampered with. And still remain. However, I do warn you this. Evil has taken root in this place. Do not tread lightly, for you may not return. However, I will guarantee you safe passage. She reaches into her yukata, pulls out a small sack. Who would like to receive said sack?
Caspian will take it.
It's light to the touch, though you can feel definitely some pieces of something solid inside. Did you take a look?
Sure. I will open it a bit.
As you open up and discover its contents, small, the locals would call explosives. They appear. You remember stories of your mother talking about great festivals, and these small little objects one could kind of throw at each other's feet and would make a kind of a sparking sound, inciting joy in children. A small firecracker.
I see. These would make excellent party favors.
You will find one for each of you. One for all 5. This will guarantee your safe passage back. However, once you leave its domain, you will never return.
Favors for a rather intense party, then.
You will know when the time comes. Any last questions? Come, drink your tea. It's getting cold. As she takes a small pull from hers.
How does Faylee drink tea?
With her mouth?
She probably tries to take a drink out of it as soon as it's handed to her, and then sputters and gets real pouty and doesn't finish it. Because it's too hot.
After this conversation, it has definitely cooled. Excuse me.
Vic will gingerly take a few sips.
Okay. As she said before, any last questions?
Not to mistrust or be unfaithful, as you said, but will we know how to find this place?
She glances down at the tea. You're well on your way.
He'll just nod.
I imagine a few moments of silence hang in the air. You now know how to get there. You know how to get back. You even know a little bit of what to expect. Are your hearts ready for the journey?
Heart's ready. Palms are heavy.
Mom Spaghetti, as you guys imbibe the last of the tea, you start to feel a little sleepy. You kind of nod in place, and you can see the gentle smile radiating from her lips and that basking warmth of her glow. When you guys awaken, you find yourselves in a much different environment. Before you, you see smooth stone, carved and polished. Let's throw some characters on the map here. So, one thing to note, I don't have a grid set for this map, as the tiles are set 10 by 10, so 4 people can be in a square. Any questions on that?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to resize stuff.
Oh, so small.
Indeed. You guys will have free agency over your characters, as there is no grid. You can see the steps leading back up, but almost to no doorway. The only thing you see is a thick covering of mist. The mist drifts down, covering what appears to be maybe 8 inches of the floor. You can see pathways leading to and fro. Almost no light in any of these hallways. Those with dark vision, even you are straining your eyes to see. You hear distant wails, moans, chittering, chitinous sounds of insects, scraping. However, you do not hear or see Kaladin. What would you like to do?
Well, at the risk of repeating what happened with the coterie, do you guys think I can risk a little light?
A little what?
A little light?
Perhaps that might be for the best.
I will boop whatever hat, helmet, however it is that Phaley is wearing and cast light on.
Okay. So you guys will now have a proper light source. And that is duly noted. However, you guys are left at an impasse. You don't know exactly where to go. But you do have the map with you.
Well, if the map is accurate, looks like there's a small room just ahead we could take a look at.
Yes, if nothing else, we should at least try to start getting our bearings.
So I'll move south to like this area and try and see the room that should be on the map.
Okay, as the light sources with Phaley, they're going to have to move with you a little bit. Does Phaley have any issues with this?
No.
Okay. So as Phaley kind of comes around that corner, inside the room, you can see several bookcases are lined across the north and south walls. The mist still floating 6-8 inches off the floor. Rising above the mist in the center appears to be a sarcophagus? No. Sarcophagi have stone lids. This has nothing. You see smoke kind of pouring and bellowing out.
Do I see anything immediately to my south? Because there's that X on the...
You see the X marked on your map. But from what you can see, you can pass through. Perhaps the map is inaccurate.
Perhaps the map is inaccurate, or perhaps there's a trap I can't see.
Would you like me to investigate?
You can feel free, just try not to set anything off that will hurt us too bad.
Well, I did that one time with the pipes, but let's leave that behind us.
All right, so it sounds like you're wanting to investigate. You may roll. And my assumption is you're reaching around with your hands, that sort of thing, feeling the floor.
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of feel around the floor. You can feel the immaculate, almost mirror-polished stone floor. At least that's what it feels like to the touch, even through glove. As you get, maybe a foot or so into the square where it's marked as an X, you feel a small deviation in that smooth like floor. You imagine perhaps a pressure plate?
Yes, there does seem to be something amiss here. I suggest if we can't disable it, perhaps trying to find a way around would be best.
Well, if that is a trap, or at least somewhere I don't really fancy putting my feet, probably means the rest of the X's on this map are likewise.
That would be the safe assumption.
If the map scale is accurate, you may be able to leap over it.
Well, in the worst case, I can always fly over as well.
True, but given the size of this place, it might be best to conserve as much energy as we can.
Oh well, the broom doesn't use any energy.
Do you ever run out of wonderful toys you've got stashed away in there?
I've had a many year of collecting.
What's the decision?
Oh, I would prefer if we went around. I don't really trust my my ability to get across without hurting myself. I am quite old. Not as spry as I used to be.
I can always ferry people back and forth as well, but perhaps we should investigate this room first.
At the very least, we can take a look. It seems like a lot of the rooms on this map are a lot like it.
Aye.
Alright, so we're gonna go check out the first room here.
Okay. Again, as you guys kind of round that corner, you can see several rows of bookcases. They appear to be double-sided in that strange stone-like sarcophagus without a lid. It's just emitting this kind of thick smoke. Appears to be too heavy as it kind of hangs over the edge. Perhaps that's partial reason why the floor is so hard to see.
Are the bookcases empty?
They are not.
Being the information gatherer that I am, I'm less concerned with the smoke and more concerned with seeing if there's any good books around here.
Okay. As you kind of take a few moments to dig through, roll me a d8. Six it is. You find a book. It's mostly in prose and story. It is depicting the rise of the Dwarven Lords. The celestial body streaks across the sky, and the brothers three rise from the earth to pay homage. One name of note: Rage Brother. The strongest, the eldest of the three. Few more kind of, I assume you're just kind of glancing over it. Reading a little bit more, you see that Rage Brother instructed his two other brothers to investigate the goings on. Something Golden Emperor. Then you start reading about Kabuto, the great city. It seems to be a history of it's a mix between dwarven like theistic upbringing as well as the founding of Kabuto. But it's written in sing-songy prose. So, great for bards.
Of which I am, although I do not perform very much.
You can appreciate its splendor. What are the rest of you doing as Vic's kind of eagle-beaking this book?
If she would allow me, Caspian would try and put Phaley up on his shoulders and kind of survey the room in that smoky coffin. Need a lift, Phaley? The mist is almost up to your neck.
Yeah, that would help.
Okay, so
As Caspian, as you kind of hunch down and Phaley climbs up on your shoulders and you stand up tall. Phaley, your light just emanates across the ceilings. You can see almost that mirror-like stone polish about the room. You do notice one thing. Midway on one of the shelves to the north, there seems to be a small object, a bottle, placed roughly in the center. If Caspian were to get closer, you might be able to grab it.
Hey, take me over there.
yeah, okay. You see something special?
Something.
And I'll take her over there.
As Caspian places his nose up against the great bookcase. Phaley just kind of reaches over, and you can kind of see Caspian fighting against the feet, the powerful feet that this goblin has, as Phaley's struggling to reach, when that thing is just out of reach, and you kind of roll your fingers a little bit. After a few moments, you roll it close enough, and you grab it. It appears to be, it has a little bit of heft to it, not a lot. It's definitely filled with some sort of liquid, and there's a stopper in the top.
Is there any label or anything on it?
There is no label. It appears to be kind of a dark blue smoky glass, and because of that, whatever liquid inside also appears to be dark. Even with your light kind of shining through, it is a very thick, cloudy glass. But it sloshes back and forth. Little thicker than water, perhaps.
She will kind of hold it down at his eye level to let him.
Okay. Caspian, you see what I had described there. A small cork stopper in the top.
Okay, well, whatever that is, Phaley, don't drink it. It's probably been in here for longer than you and I have been alive.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, you heard the mother. Like, this place is like real old. That's gotta be like super past its expiration date.
I don't know what that word means, but okay.
It will give you the tummy troubles if you drink it.
How about you,
Oh.
Valdurin? What are you doing during this?
Valdurin is going to investigate that coffin with the smoke coming out of it.
Describe to me how you investigate.
Well, he's going to cautiously approach and try and see if he can get a good eye in there without getting too close.
Make me a perception.
Okay.
Wow, excellent perception. You can see the smoke is not coming out kind of like an even sort of spray. You can see it's... Imagine the difference between like smoke coming out of like a large box opening and then a large box opening with maybe like a grate inside, as it kind of comes up and then it fills, so to speak, instead of just coming out as one solid mass. But that's not really what disturbs you. What truly disturbs you is this, the sound of
Well, that is disturbing.
Indeed.
Valdurin is going to kind of whisper talk to his companions there and warn them that we should probably get out of here.
Okay. Phaley's still on Caspian's shoulders as Valdurin turns around. Something. We ought to get out of here.
Something not quite right coming from that. Probably best for us to avoid it.
Okay, Vic, get your library card. We're leaving.
Very well. I'll set the book down and make my exit.
Okay. As you guys exit the room, nothing happens. Got you there. Natural pause of the music. Where do you wish to go? And yes, this is going to be a hex crawler dungeon adventure.
Fine.
So, up and around to appease Valdur.
Aye, that would be most welcome. And also, I'm afraid that if the map is anything to go on, there's more of those in that other direction. and I'd rather not find out what exactly the source of the fog and that sound I heard was.
Yeah. I think you have a good idea what might make that sort of sound, aside from macaroni and cheese.
Okay, so going back to where we started, is that a door to the right of us now?
On your map, it shows a door. However, it has long since been dilapidated and torn down. It is just an open hallway. The door frame's there.
Seems like we can go right on through here.
Then let us press on.
Okay, you guys, of course, have free movement.
Okay, well, we're gonna go down the hall, and I'm just gonna say I'm still carrying Phaley while we're going.
Okay. The ceilings here will definitely allow this, as Bailey's fairly small. Had it been two medium-sized creatures, it would have been pretty precarious. As you guys round this corner, and you can see that the door to the next room is shut, you hear an eerie kind of music playing. Almost like a harpsichord.
From what direction?
From behind the door.
Okay.
Shall we intrude?
Aye, but let us approach with caution.
Who is opening the door, if anyone?
Valdurin will take point.
All right.
If you'll allow me a moment, I'm curious to try something.
Oh. All right.
I'm going to just listen at the door and see if I can pick up the melody.
Okay. Make me... Bard... Let's just make a charisma check. You haven't heard this song, but now that you're listening, it's not really a harpsichord. Is that draconian chanting? The rest of you still hear the harpsichord.
Do I hear words out of that, or is it just
As you
like a Gregorian chant kind of?
As you stop and listen, it's almost as in think of like mass. Some sort of prayer is being led. They're mentioning a name. I won't say it out loud. A name that is very familiar to you. Let me know if you need a DM, but I don't think you will.
No, yeah. Still cautious, but very curious now. I am going to prestidigitate a flute into my hand and just start playing that same music for a moment.
Okay. So the music that Vic starts playing does not match. You guys aren't musicians. Doesn't really match or go with the beat at all to what is going on in that room. And no, it is not the Song of Time. So that's a little odd. The music inside, the chanting, it almost seems to resonate with the music that you're playing. The beats and measures start to slightly vibrate as they come into sync with one another. And to your ears, it sounds beautiful.
As the spell runs out, assuming that nothing else seems to have happened, I'll just nod to the others and say, I think it's okay, and go to open the door.
Okay. As Vic opens the door, I need the other three to make charisma saves, DC 11.
Is this a charm effect?
It is not a charm.
Ooh.
Okay. Caspian, you will make it. As the door opens, Phaley, Valderin, the music immediately shifts, and you see a group of 3 kind of priests, kind of beefy, bulky priests, kneeling down in front of a statue of a great dragon. Does anybody speak Draconic?
I do.
I do not.
I don't.
Okay. I'm assuming Phaley probably does not as well. If so, then...
Nah.
So, perfect. Vic, you hear the praise and adulation of the great Lord. Again, I'm not going to say the name out loud.
It's alright.
And they whisper the forecoming of the Great One. The seals have begun to break, they say. Soon. Caspian, you're the only one, as you're looking into this room, you see 5 cots. You see 5 skeletons lying in the bed. Well, 1 per bed, not just like they had a big party in one.
Alrighty. Do I see the worshippers, or do I just
You
see
do
the
not.
skeleton?
You do not see anything that the others see.
Alright, gotcha.
Yes. Be careful what you take with you. What would you guys like to do?
Well, Caspian will just kind of poke his head through the door frame and say, well, I don't hear any music anymore.
As you poke your head through, the other 3 kind of snap out of it. It instantly transforms into a nondescript room. 5 beds, 5 corpses, skeletons.
So Phaley and I see that now too?
Yes.
Okay.
For a brief moment, Vic looks very upset.
True emotion.
What were you, hearing, Vic? What were you playing music for?
It was... I'm not sure entirely. It was a fragment of the past, I suppose, looking at what we see now.
He'll kind of scratch his head and look up at Phaley. You saw the skeletons, right?
I thought so.
The skeletons are definitely there. Looks like they've been here for quite some time.
Well, I hope they enjoyed your serenade.
I think they did, for what it's worth.
Can I kind of look in and see if there's any belongings of these skeletons?
So, if you want to look, you may make a perception check. Keep in mind that the floor is still covered in mist. That will be persistent unless otherwise stated. And thus far, we are looking.
Sure. Well, I can't drop it, apparently. There we go.
Boop. The only thing that you're really gonna glance, they look like humanoid type skeletons. However, each of them covered under the bedding has been pulled up, and it looks like they've got their arms kind of crossed. Gently poking up out of the bedding, you see the very top of a pommel.
Can I try and uncover that?
You can try whatever you want.
I would like to uncover this pommel.
All right. Caspian reaches down, gently grabs hold of the small bedding, and begins to pull it down. And immediately regrets that he had. Let's roll initiatives. Let's do some of this.
What the hell? How did you get
Oh,
a
no.
0?
What? Oh, a -1 dex?
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Does that mean you just stand off to the side and do nothing?
Valdorin's hip is acting up. He's unable to move.
Wow, okay.
It's all this mist, it's messing with his arthritis.
Sounds about like my want to get out of bed that's -1.
His cataracts are acting up. He's unable to see the enemy.
All right, bear with me a second.
He's got to get out his ear horn so that he can. What? What are you saying?
What's
Can't
going
hear without
on?
my glasses.
Wait, I can't hear without my glasses.
That's. I've not told you that one. My grandpa used to say that.
That's new to me.
Grade A grandpa joke.
Caspian, you have initiative. There will be 5 of these, just FYI. I'm in the middle of shrinking them because no grid, which was a
Right.
poor decision.
Well, for discussion's sake, which bed would I have been by?
It looks like you're near the closest one to the north.
Alright, gotcha.
Seems reasonable. Okay, almost there. Oh, that guy's like wee tiny. Okay.
So as I pull down the covers, what do I see?
Immediately rising up, this skeleton glows a blue flame. Any sort of bedding immediately catches fire and instantly is incinerated. The beds burn to the ground as they rise up, pulling their swords.
Okay. Well, I guess I will stab it.
You do that. You miss
will not.
horribly.
That's spooky. I will flail with my sword, miss terribly, and then I will use my bonus action to disengage and get the GTA.
Okay. However, it is their turn. We'll move. Ophalie's still on your shoulders. Ain't
Yep.
that quaint? All right, so this one, 2 and 4. We'll move forward. Strike at Valdorin. What do they have? Oh, okay. So, makes its first attack. And finds purchase.
That he does.
Atherin hitting on his first attack.
I
of the
know!
day.
11 points of damage. However, they only get one attack around because they're weak. But number 4, rising from his bed, targets Vic. And that natural
Ooh.
20. Not bad.
No.
13 points of damage. Vic, it is now your turn.
Okay. I have no idea how this is going to play, but I am going to just shout out to the Wraiths in Draconic and say, "We are not here to intrude upon your slumber. I am here to carry on your tradition."
Persuasion.
If I can find it.
May the gods be with you. Nice. They hear your words. They ring true in their ears. Everyone will have advantage on these creatures if you wish to attack. Vic, you may continue with your actions.
I don't know that my words have gotten through, but I am going to step away from the one that has just attacked me and move towards my companions and try to keep them from fighting each other.
Okay. You may move your character as you wish. All right.
Just kind of doing like the T-pose of everybody stay behind me.
Okay, trying to convince them to stop. Maybe a little more on the next round. Thus far, you can see the apprehension as they did not take swing at you. They are just kind of standing there, all eyes upon Vic. That will be very obvious to the rest. Phaley, it is your turn. It is going to take an action to climb down. How do I want to do that? It'll take half your movement to climb down, or you can stay there and make ranged attacks, or whatever else you want to do.
I think she'll go ahead and stay, but she might ready a weapon in case.
Okay.
If they make any movement towards Vic, she's probably gonna try to throw something at him.
Absolutely perfect. Wraith 1. Stands there. His sword is fully drawn. You can see him grasp it in one hand. He brings his second hand up as though he's going to get a greater grip upon it. He looks over at you, Vic. What do you know of our coming lord? You may make a free reply if it's short.
I will just say, my parents will worship us, as am I.
Okay, moving on.
I'm assuming that was all in Draconic.
That is correct. It is Draconic, and nobody else can understand what is going on. I could have written it out, but that happens.
That's alright.
The Sword Wraith 3 looks at you, Vic. He takes a step forward. Does not attack. But again, kind of draws his weapon into two hands and says, "If this is true, then you will know the credo." Wraith 5. Very similar. Stands there, draws his weapons in two hands.
Devote thy fealty to our Lord.
Valderin, it is now your turn. They have not attacked. That is very obvious to everyone.
All right. Would Valderin have noticed that they kind of became more passive after Vic said?
Absolutely. They're all eyes are on Vic. So either he's obviously conversing with them in a language you do not understand. You don't know what's going on. But they have not taken any further hostile actions. However, you know that they are undead as well. So, what do you wish to do?
Well, how close am I to Vic?
So each square is 10 feet.
Okay.
Just imagine every square has a cross shape in it.
Okay. Well, I guess Valderin will, if he's away from Vic, he'll approach Vic and kind of pat him on the back and go, "I hope you know what you're doing," and he'll cast guidance.
Nice. Well met.
I don't know. Forgot how to cast.
Well, while you're figuring that out, we're going to skip up to Caspian.
I think I am going to continue my frightened running away, but try and keep Faylee in her slingshot distance.
Okay. Duly noted.
So maybe like out to here, maybe.
I don't see how to cast that, Volderin. If it comes into play, we'll have him just add a D4 to it.
Is it an effect type ability?
Yeah.
What does the effect read?
Before the spell ends, the target can roll a D4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice.
I guess, yeah, it wouldn't be an effect.
And they can roll it before or after. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying, is there an effect action on your actions page?
No.
Okay, you'd have to set that up somehow.
Mm-hmm. But because again, this one can come into play at any time, we'll manually adjust it if he so desires to use it, and it lasts for a minute as long as you concentrate on it.
Yep.
All right. You move back. That was the end of your action, Caspian?
Yeah, we'll say that.
Okay.
Yes, pledge thy allegiance.
On to 4.
Pledge thy allegiance to all present.
Vic, it is your turn. They all have their... so essentially what has happened is they're kind of all surrounding you. They've got their swords in two hands ready to strike, just waiting to see what happens in this next action.
All right, and I suppose the big question is, do I know and or remember the creed?
Is there one?
Well, they mentioned it.
That they did. But what does Vic do? How would Vic react to this?
Oh, if I've heard that there is one, I would repeat it.
Okay. What would that credo kind of sound like? What would Vic say?
Putting me on the spot.
Oh, come on, I gave you a round.
Uh,
You don't have to put it in exact words, but just kind of describe the effect that you're going for, your mannerisms, what you're doing.
Definitely, for those who are even not understanding Draconic, it's definitely, the way I'm speaking is much more passionate than you've probably heard me speak before. It's not with any kind of, despite the hostility of those around me, not with any kind of anger, though. It's very, the way I'm reciting it is very peaceful.
Okay. And you said in Draconic.
Yes.
Okay. Ready to action. Let's do this. And there. And let me get this. How did he miss? Oh, that was against Valderin. Sorry. An AC 23. How you've got an AC above 23?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
What the f? Would that have hit you, Vic, though?
Definitely.
Okay. So, hold on a second. Let's do... All right. Here we go. Sorry.
I'm regretting my choices.
Vic, as one of the wraiths had prepared an action, you did not meet their requirements per se, as they stated for all to hear. The great slash comes down. You can feel it kind of slice through your chest. Blood kind of starts to spill and fill the misty floor as they disappear. We are out of combat.
Valderin is going to look at Vic worriedly and go, "That was reckless, lass."
Despite their appearance, they are trapped here in this place. If I could settle it without violence, that is the way I would want it to be done.
Think more for your own safety.
I've suffered worse. Hell, that troll that bit me did quite a worse number.
Very well. Just hold still while I get you patched up. And he's going to cast Cure Wound at level 2.
Okay.
Let's see, how do I...
Then you'll want to target Vic as well.
I'm trying to...
Somehow I'm targeting me.
We'll space you guys out.
Wow.
That does happen, but Vic, you'll recover 8 hit points. Enough to start closing the gash there on your chest.
I don't think that applied automatically.
It did not.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to punch it in manually.
Beep, boop, beep.
There we go.
Huzzah. Faley, you still got eyes on the ghosties?
Trying to.
They've all vanished.
But it might have been there might have been a hefty cost, but Did you learn anything?
Oh, I certainly did. You all learned I speak Draconic.
Well, I don't know what you said to him, Vic, or what that was about, but I guess they really did like your performance.
Not quite enough, I'm afraid, but I hope they're able to find peace. Does not seem quite the behavior that I would have expected.
Well, I learned my lesson. No more undoing bed sheets while I'm here.
The good news is Kaladin's body was not amongst them.
Something to be thankful for.
The bad news is Sobe's was.
Oh. Too soon, man. Too soon.
It will never not be too soon.
Noted.
Out of curiosity, was the sword that he saw one of the ones that they picked up, or was that a separate sword?
The sword that you saw would have been the ones that they had on their persons.
Oh, I kind of figured as much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're done dealing with the paranormal, the map seems to say that we should be able to get further along down this way.
Aye, let's press on.
If you three will give me just a moment, you can go on ahead. I'll catch up.
Okie dokie. We'll scout out this next room we'll have to go through.
Very well, but yell if there's something amiss.
Oh, believe me, I will.
Iron door. The fog still entrenching the floor. Behind this door, you almost feel a sense of power coming from the room. Although the fog is thick and rolling, you can see the flashing of reddish purplish lights there amongst the floor. You imagine where the jam or the bottom of the door perhaps is not fully touching the floor.
If I reach out and put my hands on it, is it shut tight or does it swing open?
You imagine it would swing either open or like in or out towards you. However, there's a small kind of clasp on the side. You would need to open it. It is shut.
Well, may I attempt to do so?
Yeah. It's just a simple mechanism. Is 24d10 a lot of damage?
Oh, sure.
No, as you open up the door, you notice that it will indeed swing out into the hallway. As you guys kind of back up and let the door swing wide, you can see inside. You see a small... How do I want to describe it? Kind of a small chamber, though it is definitely the largest one that you've seen here. It spans maybe 50 foot wide and about 30 foot long, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. In the corners of the room, you can see the source of the flashing. Every few seconds, it'll kind of pulse a reddish purple hue. They all seem to light up at once. The most obvious difference that you see, the fog in here is a little different. It seems a little thinner. When you swung the door wide, it almost created a bit of draft. And for a second, you swear you saw something odd in the center of the room. Very quickly, the void is gobbled up by more mist.
Could I?
I cast fireball at the darkness.
Oh, I was gonna say, could I use gust of wind in an attempt to kind of clear the fog for a brief second, so that we get a better look at what that was?
You absolutely can.
All right. I will do that.
Centering it so it's kind of blowing east.
Yeah.
Okay. So as the mist kind of hits the walls, it'll start to spread around, but it will very quickly push away everything from the floor. You see an odd mechanism. It appears to be like a kind of a cube-shaped object. However, there's like 4 sort of clamps or hooks that come up out of the floor on each of the facings: north, south, east, and west. I don't know how long your spell lasts, but you will continue to see that for the duration.
Let me take a look. I'll just throw it up.
Blech.
It's concentration up to 1 minute.
Okay, no problem. And Vic, you can rejoin whenever you feel like.
Yes, I was just going to move to the beds and one by one offer a short prayer for their souls.
Make me, okay, this is going to sound really odd, a religion check at disadvantage in the bucket.
Would enough time have passed that I would have lost guidance
You would still have guidance, I imagine.
And I'll use it on this.
Okay. So, you can roll that in the open or in the bucket as well, and I'll add it together.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. As you're kind of solemnly...
that would have a +1 as well from the stone that I still haven't figured out.
Noted and worth it. As you kind of solemnly and but devoutly kind of say your prayers, say your piece, you get a sense of connectedness. You feel kind of it's a different kind of power washover. So when you were with the woman, you kind of felt kind of a divine, kind of a goodly sort of presence. This, you don't feel good or evil. You just feel raw sort of power kind of wash over you for a moment. Very briefly in your head, a matter of a microsecond, you see a jewel, but it is unlike any jewel that you've seen before. The facets make it sparkle in such an odd way, but the jewel itself, you could never say that was a diamond, that was a ruby. It was unlike any other sort of precious gem that you've ever seen before, yet it had the familiarity of many. And that's it.
I'll probably sit there for a moment trying to piece together anything from that, and then eventually, I'm sure, give up and move back to join the others.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They're kind of examining this. Again, there's like a 10 by 10 cube They're roughly in the center, and there seems to be mechanisms coming out of north, south, east, and west that lead into the faces of this cube, and then the kind of the pulsing lights there in the corner.
What kind of contraption is this?
No doubt something dangerous, but probably no more or less dangerous than the trap we'd have to go through to avoid.
Aye. Let us proceed with caution. Hopefully we don't regret this. Valdurin's going to start approaching the cube.
Okay.
And
Voldurin, as you approach the cube, make me a wisdom save.
That I can do. Wow.
Okay. You hear the voice. It's mangled, it's muffled inside. It's hard to make out a whole lot of what's going on, but
Help me! It's hard to breathe!
Valdurin's going to try and look around to try and determine where that sound is coming from.
oh, it's coming from the cube.
Yeah,
You have no
Valdurin's
doubt.
Going to continue his approach to the cube.
Yeah, it was a female's voice from inside.
Okay. Yeah, Valdurin will continue to approach the cube.
Okay. The rest of you, I imagine, you will see Voldurin kind of make haste towards this object.
Caspian's definitely following pretty close behind.
Okay.
Is everything okay?
There's someone seems to be in distress, coming from the cube itself. He's gonna kind of stare at it and kind of yell into it. He's like, "Can you hear me?"
Caspian? Vic? Fairy? Help me!
It's definitely Trixie's voice.
We all hear that.
Oh, yes.
Alden's kind of gonna turn to them and kind of just quizzically ask, "Who would this be?"
I'd imagine as you kind of turn around, Caspian's then there beside you, and he's like beating on the cube, trying to like pry the corners open type.
His naturally dark skin is just turned a shade of white.
Help! It's going. Put me in here.
Caspian, what are you doing?
Trying to open the cube. I'm not seeing hinges or keyholes or.
Do you not remember what we were told? And you see me looking still very much obviously shaken from hearing the voice, but nevertheless imploring you. We were told to leave the past behind.
Indeed. Vic,
I'm sure this is a trick.
you may make a wisdom save. Caspian, Phaley, you can make a wisdom save at disadvantage. Vic, your words ring true. You absolutely believe them. Caspian, Vic's words start to ring in your ears. It starts to make sense. No, it's Trixie. You know that voice anywhere. Phaley has no doubt in her mind. Trixie is indeed trapped in that box.
He'll kind of look up at her and still on his shoulders and say, "I can't get it open, Faye. Can you bash it? Like, hit it really, really hard?"
Yeah.
If I see that they're going to continue, I am going to cast Hold Person at 3rd level on the 2 of them.
Nice. So essentially, I'm just going to allow this just because they're split between 2 things. Their defenses are just not going to be able to resist this. However, the voices are still going to ring in their ears.
Cisco said, he wants the girls to dance in the pretty lights.
Valdorin's gonna turn to Vic and... What's going on? What are you doing?
It's a trick. They're using the voices of the dead to try to lure us in.
Would Valdorin believe him?
You may
that.
You may make a wisdom saving throw at normal, no disadvantage. Vic's words ring very true to you. You see the dancing colors in the corners. You no longer hear that voice.
All right. Valdorin is going to undo his gust of wind and try and have the thing reshrouded.
Okay. How does Phaley and Caspian react? You guys are being physically prevented from trying to rescue a very dear friend, family even.
I'm not entirely sure exactly how paralysis would affect this, but getting desperate, Caspian will try to ignite his hands that he's still holding the cube with and try and burn.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Valdorin, as you're very near that cube, you can see Caspian just grasp hold, and the fire just kind of ripples down his arms, concentrating in his hands, and you can see this metal object just barely start to heat up on the corners.
I need you to let go of the cube and calm down, boy.
Dance in the lights.
You don't understand.
Only those two hear that.
We let her down once. I can't let her down again. Vic, let go of me.
It's a trick, boy. Get yourself together. What you're hearing is not real.
Phaley, Caspian, you may make another wisdom save. No disadvantage.
Not much better, apparently.
Phaley, you're just... I don't know exactly how you're reacting, whether it's rage or just tears, but you're just too overcome. You want to help Trixie so much. You're just not capable of doing so right now. That either just completely frustrates you to the point where you shut down, or you're just ready to just break free in rage. Caspian, you kind of come to, and the last thing you hear Trixie say is,
Dance in the pretty lights.
He's still paralyzed, but the moment the voice stops, the flames stop.
okay. And Phaley is just bursting into tears.
If it seems like, it's hard to tell with paralysis, but if it seems like they've calmed down, I'll drop the Hold Person.
Caspian has. Phaley obviously has not. They're just distraught.
Yeah, I'll keep it. I don't know if I can do it selectively or not.
I don't think so. Maybe a wizard could.
Yeah. In that case, I'll keep it up, but I'll approach Phaley and just kneel down and say, I know it's difficult. She was a good friend, and We will miss her dearly, but be angry at those who would use her voice against you. Don't be lulled into it.
Very good. Phaley, one more save, advantage. Phaley, you snap to. You instantly recognize the facade for what this was. But the last thing that you hear.
I always knew you were a dumb bitch.
And the lights in the room just shatter. The room goes dark, save for Phaley's helmet.
I'll drop the spell, obviously.
And at which point, let's take a 8-minute break. And we'll be back at 10 after. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. And I have returned.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hello.
Is everybody here?
Rainbow will be a minute.
Okay.
Sorry, had to go get my medicine and figured I'd go pee while I was in there.
Unacceptable.
Took so long.
Cue lemon grab.
Anyways, I want to point out the fantastic RP section that you guys had. Very commendable. So we're going to do some inspiration here.
I gotta start using mine.
Indeed. Let's see. Inspiration. You get an inspiration. You get an inspiration. And you get an inspiration. Now, not to detract from the great level of RP that you guys had, Valdurin, it's quite exceptional. I'm awarding you 2.
Yay.
Very, very good. All right. As you guys are kind of left, at least 3 of you reminiscing at Trixie's demise. Valdurin, not exactly knowing who this person was, but can clearly see on all your faces just how important this person was. Kind of a somber air fills the chamber. What do you guys wish to do?
Alder and will kind of just look at the rest of the people, just kind of look them over to see how they're doing. And he'll kind of whisper to himself, to use the wounds of one's heart against them. Despicable.
Indeed, but the people that we fight are pretty despicable. Vic,
Yes.
thanks for holding this back a bit.
I would say it was my pleasure, but I'd really rather have not.
And I would have rather not made you waste your energy.
Oh, that much is fine. I just, well, you know what I meant.
Alright, well, light needs to keep shining, so forward we go.
Aye, but we should probably steal our hearts. This most definitely won't be the last that attempts to attack us through our past.
Yes, I agree. Anyone with any particularly dark and disturbing secrets, now is the time to share them. Definitely saying that sarcastically.
For your sake and mine, let's hope we don't stumble into my memories. Hope all of you have fireproof clothing.
I share the same sentiment. How about with less fire?
So I think we're gonna try and exit to the south.
Okay, as you guys kind of waxed nostalgia for a while, at least a quarter of a candle mark, you guys look at the wall standing before you and glance at your map. It's marked with an odd sigil, as though there is some sort of passage here, but none apparent.
Maybe there's some sort of hidden trigger that would open this, or maybe they did renovations, who knows?
I'm going to pull out my wand of magic detection and cast detect magic.
What is the range on said item?
I believe same as the spell, so it should be 30 feet unless I'm mistaken.
Okay. You do detect magic, but not from this wall. Somewhere, your gut tells you over to where the X is on the map. The closest X.
Probably just a magic trap, but I'll relay that to the group. I'll make a sweep of the room before the spell runs out.
Okay. You feel the remnants of magic coming from those exploded light sources.
I don't think it'll do anything, but it will certainly improve my mood to just give them a couple of good smacks and make sure they're good and smashed.
You hear the sound of breaking glass under your feet or whatever sort of implement you used.
Does this wall look any different from the other walls?
Perception.
Okay.
As you kind of glance at the wall, you can hardly make out the seams at the corners. The craftsmanship would make even the greatest dwarf craftsman almost blush. Clearly, this is a door. How to open it? Not entirely sure.
Brute force.
Oh,
Should I fly around to the other side?
if this fails and I break my nose, you can. However, the lady said to have faith, and the map she gave us says that there's a door here. So, rolling it up, he'll stick it in his pocket and try and walk forward.
Caspian disappears.
What?
Baldurin's gonna look visibly shocked, just whoa, kind of taken aback.
Well, he's dead, gone forever. Shall we move on?
Vic, you would obviously denote this was not arcane. As you had just cast detect magic.
Well,
Perhaps some sort of extraplanar portal or something.
But you guys can move through to the other side.
yeah. Baldurin will attempt to follow behind Caspian.
Okay. Although your light won't stretch all the way across the hallway, you will see a few inlets to some obvious, it appears to be rooms according to the map. You guys may move as desired.
All right.
Oh, I'm very glad I didn't pay for my literality with my nose.
Just thwack.
I can do that for you, you know.
I know, I probably should have put you down before trying it.
Seems there's more of those caskets ahead.
Do you think we should just avoid them all, Voldurin?
I did not like what I heard from the depths of it, but if we are to find what we're looking for, it may be... we may need to look through each and every one of them.
Not to make perhaps something out of nothing, but did you notice that the next room down there's fewer bookcases than in all the others?
It is smaller, isn't it?
And even further down, there is another one like that.
Oh, you can always poke your head in, and if you hear gurgling sounds, try and get away quick.
Or if it will set your mind at ease, I could always cast silence. A problem ignored is a problem solved.
But then if it attacks us, we won't be able to tell.
But you must have faith, isn't that what you said?
Faith and tentacles do not often mix, my friend.
Oh, that depends on what god you pray to.
That is accurate.
Saying that, knowing full well what the other group is dealing with right now. Well, we'll take a poke around in the different room then.
Agreeable.
Just as on the map, the door is ajar, as there is no door, or not much of it left. You can see it was once a metal door, but some sort of caustic substance has eaten away, leaving very little.
No, I have to do this. Can I take a look in the jar?
What jar? Oh, yeah, if you want to. I imagine it was still on in Caspian's clutches.
Oh, no. You said the door was ajar, so I'm looking in the jar.
Boo.
You mother.
Take his inspiration back.
That's right,
You
I'm
can't
taking
have
them
that
all.
anymore.
I hate you. The door is a door, and it's slightly opened.
I will try and look inside.
Okay. You can see at least what's above, the mist line. The remnants of what appeared to be bookshelves. They have been ransacked, destroyed, scattered amongst the floor.
Looks like previous guests did a number on this room.
They were looking for something, but what?
And more importantly, did they find it?
Yes, that's my thinking. We were told that there were some things that they could not escape with, so perhaps we should give this room a good perusal.
Okay. We can do like a group perception.
I think that'll work.
Mm-hmm. Looking for 50% to pass.
All right. I can just find it. There it is.
Big fail from me.
That's okay. Several of the others had decent scores. All right. As you guys kind of scatter the room, not much is left in the way of books, as you'll notice small piles of ash kind of amongst the floor. As you guys are walking around, it will billow up kind of in the air. Along with something else. Caspian, you're going to be the first to notice a small, thin, black feather. Vulpine, perhaps, is the proper term. Probably not, because I'm not good with English.
Where particularly is the feather?
It kind of wafted up with the ash as you guys kind of scoured the room.
His breath will catch a bit and he'll just say, Magpie.
So our feathery friends were here.
Then it It is safe to assume they were here for a reason.
It seems like the only thing undisturbed, unmolested, was that single sarcophagus without the lid. Mist billowing out.
Okay, are we gonna take a look inside?
I'll keep back. I'm going to, you said that there were remnants of books, right?
Yes, mostly destroyed. It looks like a fire was set.
I will attempt to pore over anything that I can find and see if there's any information, looking specifically for things related to the Raven Queen, because I'm assuming that's what the Nagpa would be here for.
Okay. As you kind of dig through, give me an investigate roll. See what you can piece together. All right, not bad. Your suspicions seem to be correct. You're seeing bits and pieces of what is referred to as Shadowfell. You're not able to gather much, although you did roll exceptionally well. You gather, of course, that it is some sort of extraplanar place. The Queen of Ravens residing. You find a small blurb about the Shadar Kai, about the faithful protectors, the Queen's beloved. And that's about all that you find.
It seems they've taken an interest in those who serve the Queen of Ravens. Knowing their tactics, perhaps they mean to somehow turn them against her.
Or strike wherever a mother's heart lies.
Both plausible. It seems as though they've no qualms about using those close to her against her.
Well, I would like to draw my sword and just, I'll say the command word to light it, and use it, kind of hold it overhead to light the room.
Okay. An extra source of light fills the room, changing from dim light to bright light.
And holding my flaming sword, I'm gonna advance on the sarcophagus.
Okay. How close does...
Baldurin will be right behind him.
Valdurin is straight up your... as you get close. But the question is, how close do you get this flaming scimitar?
Short sword.
Short sword. To the sarcophagus.
I'm kind of holding it overhead like one would a torch as I reach out to try and touch it.
Okay. As you get closer to this, you get the flaming sword very, very close to where this mist is emanating from. And it starts to kind of peel it back ever so slightly. Just enough where you make out two things. Thing one, there's definitely something metal inside. Perhaps a lever. It's hard to tell because thing two is actually many things. You see carrion crawlers, worms, bugs of all sorts, insects just crawling and writhing over this metal object. You imagine they permeate all the way to its lowest levels.
Okay, that will probably make him retch a little bit, and kind of stifling and trying not to throw up, he's gonna instinctively reach out and cast Burning Hands into the coffin.
Okay. As you cast Burning Hands, the room just sets up a blaze around. Everybody can see the light that it's casting, just filling this small chamber. But that's not really what's disturbing. It's the snapping and popping of these small carrion-like creatures. As they pop, some of them will actually fly up a little bit and kind of snap, burning away just enough that you think if you had a free hand, you might be able to pull that lever.
If you're gonna be up my butt, you can at least be helpful.
Very well. Baldur will kind of like push himself over the kind of plant himself on the ledge of it and try and see if he can reach down and get it. I don't know if he can because he's short, but he's gonna try.
You can. As your nose kind of crests over this sarcophagus, that's when it really hits you. Constitution save. Ooh. As the smell hits you first. You kind of try to choke it back, but it's starting to come up your esophagus and start to fill your mouth. You can't help but just turn your face to the side and just... It's just too much, even for your hardy constitution. Burning Hands is a very short action, correct?
Yeah, it's instantaneous.
Yes, and as the creatures start to crawl back over this lever. A solid plan, but poor execution.
What's the money on there being enough of them that I can't just keep burning them away?
Well, here's a thought. I do have some rope. If we can get it around the lever, perhaps a good sharp pull from further back will suffice.
Alright, I'll get ready to burn it if you guys will get ready to pull on the rope.
Just as long as I can be as far away as possible. It's kind of wipe whatever vomit that was caught in his beard off.
You've never witnessed something like that, and you've had some pretty bad cooking.
So I'll get the rope out. I'll put a sailing knot in it so it can adjust, and get ready to toss it around the liver.
All right, make me. Let's do definitely a dex-based sort of skill. I don't know if acrobatics would be so applicable here. I think maybe just straight dex. And let's...
Sleight of hand?
Yeah, I think you guys could make a small case for that. I'll allow it.
Really good with that, so that's good.
Well, you're a bard. You're naturally good at everything.
True.
So you're great at this.
I've got gloves for sleight of hand.
Of course you do.
Gloves of hand performance.
That's a different...
Yeah, so I'll have to be quicker about it, though, because I have to wait for the flames to stop, or else I'll just get the rope on fire.
Indeed.
Well, once I get a moment, once I get the signal, I will once again do my Burning Hands.
Yeah, you guys should coordinate this to the best of your abilities. We'll just use raw rolls. You don't have to roll for Burning Hands, obviously, but I will need that dex sleight of hand check.
Okay, coming at you.
Cleopatra. All right. Caspian sets the coffer ablaze, ends at just the right moment as you're whipping this around. You let the lasso fly. It sails true with a small tug. You do smell a little bit of burnt rope, but you give it a good kind of taut check as the knot slides true, and you can feel the resistance on the other end.
All right. Well, everybody, suggest we give this a good hard pull. We may only get one shot at this if the rope is weakened.
Aye. Let's be quick about it.
Who's pulling? Everybody?
Just the other 3, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's give 3 athletics.
Are you gonna rage to pull the rope, Failing?
Lols. Rips the
Nah.
switch right out of the sarcophagus. Hey, that's pretty good. You guys feel the resistance as this lever has not been pulled in, at least an age. Yeah, you pull, you swear that rope is just going to snap. You feel it give loose once as the rope kind of slips past but catches, and you finally pull it up into an upright position. You hear a distant clicking sound.
That's just great. Something tells me that we need to do the same in more of these rooms.
Yes, perhaps with a good bit of looking around, we can figure out a door that's unopenable or something of that sort, too.
Aye.
I'll keep looking at it, and I will keep burning any gross stuff we come across.
I will attempt to do a flick of the wrist to get the rope to slide the rest of the way off the handle.
Okay. You're
Look at
not
the
going to
flick
have
of
any
that.
issues getting it free.
Okay.
However, examining the rope, you have 1, maybe 2 more attempts at this. Should the need
Well,
arise.
I've got 100 feet of it, so
No, fair enough.
I can cut away any sections that get really weak. A good adventure is always prepared.
Mm.
So, do we want to go back up and check the room we missed, or just proceed on?
Perhaps check just to see if there is such a lever. It'd be good to know if it's only certain rooms or not.
Yes. But whatever it is that these levers hide better be worth my lost lunch.
Be grateful, it's mostly just tea.
Aye.
Just remember, whatever we find, we are not to take it with us. Just learn what we can from it.
Okay. Looking at the previous room, is it about the same?
Roughly. It doesn't look as ransacked as the one before.
And is there also an open sarcophagus?
There is.
Is there also a flask of unknown liquid?
There is not a flask of unknown liquid.
Okay.
Well, I will once again approach the sarcophagus.
Okay. You guys ready the same trick?
Is it the same scenario?
You don't. You can. As you lower your sword, you do indeed find another lever.
I'll peer over as well. Does it look as though it's the same kind of lever? Is there any kind of like color coding or anything like that I might notice?
Not that you're
difference?
noticing. Just nondescript metal.
Well, there's no way of knowing if we need to pull all of these or some of them or a pattern or what, but for now I see no reason why we shouldn't. we know just as much as we did before.
Yeah.
Trying to be a bit more resourceful than Caspian will try and control flames to pick off the flames of his sword and just drop them into the sarcophagus.
Okay. So you guys go with the same trick as you guys have been prepared for this. The only thing I really need from you guys is the athletics checks. Dang, I saw 20. Okay. You guys
Dick
give a
is feeling very athletic.
You guys give a hearty pull on this one, expecting it to be just as difficult as the one before. As you guys pull, it gives way almost immediately as you guys kind of launch back several quick steps, almost falling over each other. You hear a clicking sound, but it came from this room.
That sounded much nearer than the last.
Aye.
Well, perhaps a good look around then.
It's not going to take you guys long to kind of investigate this room. You're going to see a small cache has opened in one of the side walls. You see 3 red-colored vials inside. Looks like there was a slot for a 4th, but it is currently missing out of the makeshift sort of box.
3 more flasks to add to our do not drink for now collection.
Drink it! Drink it!
I do happen to have some on hand. If I were to compare the two, do these look like potions of healing?
Very similar, at least in appearance.
Well, if the need arises, there's a good chance that these are potions of healing, but I can't guarantee it.
True, but the same people who use ghostly apparitions of the dead might very well use falsely labeled potion.
That is very true. Just a splash of food coloring is all it takes.
Alright, well I think we will proceed back down the hallway then.
Do we want to double back to the first one?
I can't imagine every one of these rooms has levers in them.
Okay.
At the very least, I'm kind of interested in seeing what some of the deeper parts of these ruins look like where the map is burned.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, where would you like to go?
We head south.
What do we see down here?
Well, according to your map, there's supposed to be a passageway here. You don't see anything. To your right, obviously, you see another door, sealed. And down the hallway, you see kind of another inlet leading south.
Just for the comedy of it, I am going to very purposefully walk right into the wall.
Oh, and that's exactly what happens. Just smack your face right against it.
Well,
Good try, though.
that doesn't seem to be the trick for all of them. Just kind of redo my hair.
Just, straighten out the nose.
Does the wall look, I guess, more recent than the other walls? Like, is there any discernible differences between that wall and the rest?
At a glance, no. You don't really notice anything. However, you can make a perception check.
Okay.
Would your stone cunning help here at all?
It says intelligence-based history checks.
Well, fair enough.
You said perception, right?
That is correct.
no.
You look at it, you're
Cataracts are
expecting again that dwarven craftsmanship from before. You don't even see the creases in this wall.
With that check, you may not even see a wall.
Lols.
Hold on, I left my glass.
Apparently, it booted me AFK. Thanks.
I'll
The
bring him
DM.
It booted me AFK because Discord. Discord loves me. Anyways, I'm back. Sorry, I literally missed the last 10 seconds.
I was just making a old blind joke. Like I
Aw.
left my reading or my glasses back at the mansion.
Making fun of the blind, you bigot.
Balduran's old. He's got cataracts.
Indeed.
Well, the good
Can't
thing
see.
is Xanathars did actually introduce an ear horn of hearing.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome.
If I go down the hallway here, what do I see in the south?
All right. So according to the map, you see the dots. As you look at it, it makes sense. You see kind of sturdy yet thin metal bars extending from the floor to the ceiling. However, about half of them have disappeared. It looks like Phaley might be able to wiggle through. The rest of you, it would be pretty difficult. You may get stuck.
What's the money on this being what we partially open?
There's
That's a good
chance
call.
of that. Is there like holes or something left behind for where the other bars used to be?
So at the ceiling, you can see very small protruding bits of metal. The floor you cannot, as it's covered by mist.
Okay.
I am going to, because a wind gust would defeat the purpose of this, I'm just going to lean down into the mist, trying my best to see if it looks like there is disturbed dust on the ground where perhaps those pillars would have recently been.
Interesting. Make a perception check as the mist is kind of obscuring it. Not going to give disadvantage, but it will be a -5.
Fair enough.
It's hard to tell, mostly because there's not a lot of dust in this place to begin with. But you can see maybe a little bit of metal flaking. No, that's not metal. That's stone.
Interesting. Seems as though there's a bit of the stonework coming undone down here.
Well, we can either try and find some more switches, or maybe Phaley could slip inside.
That's possible, but I worry for her safety if there's a trap inside.
Oh, boo, I'm fine.
I would rather not have the child go by herself. It may be dangerous and we would be unable to act.
You're new around here. You can't make orders of me like that.
I was merely stating concern. My apologies if I offended.
With the helm of telepathy, I'll just tell him, best not call her a child, you'll just encourage her further.
Balduran, you hear a voice in your head.
He's just gonna look at Vic and go, please don't do that.
You can't give orders of me either.
wasn't an order, it was a request.
Oh, I'm Voldurin's just kind of looking at you all, almost spinning in circles. What has he gotten himself into?
See, the manners of the younger generations have degenerated quite a bit from my day.
She'll just keep inching closer and hope they don't notice that she's doing it anyway.
Okay.
At least let me shield you
So,
from any such dangers that may come.
shield how?
He's gonna cast protection from evil and
Okay. Phaley, your strong yet lithe body just kind of passes through these metal bars, cold to the touch, and you wiggle inside and you can find what appears to be a great library. Many bookshelves line the walls.
It's even more of the stuff we've already seen.
There is a lot of them. As you move into that square, the clomp, clomp, clomp sound turns into crunch, crunch, crunch at your feet.
Oh no, that's not good. Do I still have the light on my head? Or
You do.
no?
You do. Mm-hmm.
Alright, so what is it?
You can't see for the mist covering the floor,
Oh, okay.
but you feel the crunchy sound. Maybe bone?
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Well, anything else in there? Just books?
Books and dead things.
Mm-hmm. At the east and west side, you see two sarcophagi. These have the lids shut.
There's two of those scarf things in here.
You mean the beds made out of stone?
Yeah, the scarves.
Can you try and open one, dear?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's wise.
You gotta learn to let the kid do what she wants to do.
I imagine, Phaley, you kind of look left and right, trying to decide which one.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Yeah, the one that you're approaching, you see some sort of humanoid figure, kind of embossed there on the front. But you see it holding a great weapon within its hands. It is not a sword. It looks like a mighty... what were those called again? It's not quite a spear.
Javelin?
Something deadly. That's on the one that you are standing next to.
Okay.
What do you wish to do?
Now I'm gonna do what my son boy says and try to open it.
Okay, make me an athletics.
Did that roll
You
or no?
Oh yeah, it did. As you just kind of hunker down and try to lift. Oh, that's so heavy. You're quickly decide that sliding is a much better option. You kind of push this off to the side and it kind of clambers to the floor, making it just a tumultuous sound, kind of echoing through the chambers. Inside you see a bit of mist, but you also see a shiny bit of metal, a long pole, and a bit of cloth tied to it. From behind you, you hear a voice.
Bailey,
Is that you? Help! It's kind of muffled, but it sounds like it's coming from the sarcophagus behind you. That voice. Very smooth and elven, although in a slight panic. Kaladin?
She's really kind of freaked out by that.
Oh, I imagine. The gears just turning ever so fast within your goblin head.
I heard Kayla. I heard her in here.
Well, try and find them. Where did you hear them?
I don't know. It just came out.
This is making me nervous. I'm going to go ahead and cast Dimension Door to pop on the other side.
Okay. There's nothing to impede you. Keep in mind the others can try to wiggle through, though you may end up getting stuck.
I am going to take a torch out of my pack, light it, and toss it through the bar.
Okay. Kind of scatters to the floor. The mist parts ever so slightly. Vic, you also feel the crunchiness under your feet, and you see exactly what it is. More of these insectoid-like creatures just lining the floor.
Well, that's disgusting.
The snap, crackle, and pop. And after a few moments, the candle extinguishes. Putrid scent filling the chamber.
Well, I will attempt to follow through after my child.
Okay, this is going to be an acrobatics. It's definitely going to be a feat of dexterous.
I can't see what anything rolled. What was that?
You get about one peck through, and part of your hips, and it just you're stuck. You guys hear echoing from the chamber. Let me out! Help! But you also hear something else. Almost a joyous sort of laughter.
What great stories! You come to meet me in the afterlife?
You recognize the voice. Phaley. The image just clicks in your mind. You know where you've seen that weapon before. You remember the person wielding it. Sobe. Again, the voice from the other sarcophagus. Don't just stand there. Help! As you guys decide what to do next.